This is my friend, Steve Polye, and he's going to talk about his life. And he's been making some written commentary. He's got 20 or so pages. And in this video, we're going to start at the beginning. Year were you born?
1940. My mother was 16 years of age, and or she was 16 years of age. A couple of years later, she ended up going to the hospital with tuberculosis. She died a little over a year later. I do not remember her at all.
Now, when you found out about this part of your life, when was that? Because I know that wasn't...
That, about my mother, I knew all along. I had heard as a child that my mother had died of TB. I don't know who told me, but it was probably when I spent a short time living with my grandparents, and they probably told me that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember buses loaded with soldiers going to the docks. I lived in New York City.
Is that you were born in New York City?
Yeah. The buses were headed to the docks with soldiers going over for the Second World War.
So that would have been, you would have maybe been 2 or 3, that would have been 42 or 43.
Yeah, 43, 44. And then in 1945, I think it was one of the New York newspapers used to come in and send kids from the inner city to the country for a little R&R.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you remember those buses carrying the soldiers, were they in your neighborhood or?
Oh yes, they were going down the street that I lived on.
Mm-hmm.
I was in an apartment, and I remember some of the things I remember about the apartment. It was long and skinny. A little bedroom over here and a little kitchen over here.
Mm-hmm. And what neighborhood or what borough was that in? Queens or?
Manhattan.
Manhattan.
Yeah. But it was a steady run of buses. I mean, one would move and they would move.
So they were kind of queued up and they're waiting to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So the men there was no air conditioning, of course.
No, not in those days.
And so the men were probably looking out the window and hanging out the window and stuff.
Yeah, and one of the soldiers gave me an ocarina, and that was my prized possession until I lost it during one of my moves.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember there were very few things that I remember about New York. I remember stealing ice chips off of the Iceman's truck while he was delivering ice, and then he'd come out and, "Oh, you kids, get out of here!" Of course, he knew what we were. He knew there were going to be a ton of kids.
Yeah.
When he came out,
mm-hmm.
But he used to holler and scream at us. But next week he was back and we were back.
Yeah, we used to do that too in the 50s. Shorty, one of the drivers, the milk guy from Superior Dairy, we'd try to get ice chips from him.
Yeah. I remember playing in a open hydrant. I don't know what they were doing, whether they were flushing the hydrant or the...
So these are all things that you remember from before you left New York for the first time.
Right. I never did go back to New York City. When I left, I was gone.
Mm-hmm.
I remember an airplane dropping samples. I don't remember what the sample was, but I remember they dropped the samples and they were in parachutes and they came down. I remember climbing up on a truck to get one of them. I don't remember what it was.
Uh-huh. Like toothpaste or some kind of thing like that.
Yeah. But,
So the Fresh Air Fund, that's how you left New York City.
yes, I don't know how I was chosen or who put me in for it, but anyways, I remember going to Grand Central Station, and put on a train. The train traveled, and the conductor took me off in a little town in upstate New York, Herkimer, New York. And there were two elderly people who were born in the mid 1890s. I'm not exactly sure what date. And their name was Marithu, Lena and Slim Marithu. And the conductor took me out on the platform and turned me over to these two people, and away we went. And they took me home, and then their home was in Mohawk, which is a little town next to Herkimer. And
They lived in the little town,
yeah, a town of about 3,000 people, I believe.
so a little frame house somewhere.
Yeah, lived next to the high school. And I was only supposed to be there for a short period of time, about 2 or 3 weeks, I believe. And while I was there, the Marithus were informed that my father was sick, and they asked if the Marithus could hold on to me until other relatives were notified. Well, I started going to kindergarten. I went halfway through kindergarten in Mohawk. And then I don't remember how I got back, but I ended up with my grandparents in Seaford, Long Island. Little farming town. Again, not a lot of people. It was probably an hour's ride from New York City. And we lived next to a farm. It was all farmland. And they would grow beets or eggplants or carrots or whatever they were growing. We ate those for that year.
Mm-hmm. So that's also close to the coast. Did you?
Oh yes, it was. It was close. It was on the southern coast, about a third of the way out on the island. Yeah, we could walk to town, and you could see the ocean, but it was far enough away from the ocean you could smell it.
Did you ever go to the ocean while you were there? Or do you remember that?
Yeah, we went to Jones Beach. Funny, I've forgotten all about that. Went to Jones Beach a couple of times. I lived with them through the first through third grade. My grandfather was a taxi driver, worked in New York City. I think I referred to him as a mean little SOB.
Mm-hmm. So what, he would take the train into the city and drive cab?
Yeah, he picked up the train in Wantagh, another town on Long Island.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember taking him over to the train, and I remember a couple of times there was a bakery across the street, and we'd go in and we'd get cheesecake. I still remember that cheesecake.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing has compared to it since.
Yeah.
But yeah, I lived with them up through the third grade, and then all of a sudden one day we were taking a car ride, and we drove to